Hey, what's up? I was asked to make an install video of these lights, so see what I can do. Um, so first thing, you're gonna have two ends on your LED strip. You have this end and that end. I usually use this end, so this end will go to the controller. So first thing you want to do is decide which side you want to put your battery pack on. Mount your battery pack where you want it, your controller. So this would plug in right there. Just make sure you got the right one. And that extra wire, if it has one, that'll go to your ground. So that'll go to ground, and your other wire will go to your power and your battery, and then everything else is controlled by this switch. So figure out where you want it. The first thing you want to do is take your strip, fold it in half, like so. Find your center point. Bam. It's going to be on probably a joint like that. So that you want to start at the top. And the reason we do this, we start at the top and run it down, is so that way your patterns come out symmetrical. If you want to cut it and you want it shorter than 5 meters, they come pre-cut at 5 meters. If you want them shorter than that, cut it first, then find your center. So once you get all that, and of course I got the wrong side, get the right side, the right direction, put it on there, and then you'll have a PVC tube that you want to put over it. You measure the size of your hoop. Whatever size of your hoop is what size PVC you want inside diameter, ID. This one I believe is 1/2 inch ID. Most cages are 5/8 ID for the PVC tube. So you get your 2x4, drill your hole in it to your appropriate size, put your blade halfway through, and one thing you can do is you can put your tube over this and kind of heat it up with a heat gun and try and get the memory right and get all the tangles out of it. But once you do that, and it helps if you have somebody, but I've done it by myself, no problem. You feed it through and you just pull it through, and that'll get your nice even cut all the way around. Once you get that on and your lights on, you're only going to need 2 or 4 zip ties, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. That's all I have on here other than the bottom. So I got one on the bottom, one there, and one there. Mine curls up and I go up the spar here. And if you're gonna do that, if you've got a pretty good bend like this, you wanna check and make sure wherever you're bending it, if it's on a joint like this, see that you can tell the joint by the solder joints, and you can see it's got a split in the cob lighting. So if you got a joint like that where you're trying to bend, over time that can be stressed and the solder joints will come loose. So what I do is I take the reel that came off of and I cut a little chunk off, see right here, soften the edges up, and then I get some clear RTV. You can just put a little dab of RTV on the back of that little piece, and I'll push it on the back side of that splice and let it dry. And what that'll do is that'll stiffen it up, and then it should make your lights last a little bit longer. These are not waterproof. They are water resistant, so you want to be careful if you get them wet. If they do get wet, you want to take your battery off and you want to let it sit for 24 hours. Make sure that your LEDs are 100% dried out. You can usually tell when they're dried out when there's no condensation inside the tubing. If you turn them on, what will happen is you got integrated circuits in here, little ICs. You'll blow all those ICs, and then your whole strand will quit working, and it'll be junk just like this one after doing a water foot drag and running my lights and that kind of thing. So you want to be cautious of water. Also, when you're hooking it up, you want to double check and make sure positive, negative is negative. They should be labeled, or they should be color coded: red for positive, black for negative. If you hook it up backwards, you could blow it up, and then your controller will be no good. So you want to be careful of that. The other thing is these lights with a 4 amp hour 24 volt cobalt battery, they will run for 8 hours. I have tested it. I do not suggest draining your batteries down that far. Get 4 or 6 hours out of it and charge them. If you drain it down to 8 hours or more than that, you could possibly damage your battery, and they're expensive, so let's not do that. make sure you're having a good charge when you start out, and make sure you don't drain them all the way. There is a BMS built into the batteries. I use a pre-packaged cobalt because that's something I trust. This is aviation. I don't want it exploding. I don't want to have any accidents in the air. So I use trusted manufactured batteries from a known source. With that being said, that's pretty much it. If you got any questions, leave them down in the comments.